gives life and the one who is sinless lives inside of me, every day I sin less and less and less. The things I used to do.
All right.
Y'all may understand it like that. I don't do no more. It's called spiritually mature. Being spiritually mature. And every day I'm growing and growing spiritually. Stuff that used to bother me. Now, it amazes me. When I was young, stuff used to worry me, and I spent so much time trying to figure out how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. But you walk with the Spirit long enough, you start to trust, and you see somebody, they come to you and they're a little younger and they're anxious about it. You tell them, settle down, God got this. Well, how you know? I've been walking with him for a while. Yeah. I haven't seen stuff like this before. We were at a retreat on this weekend, and it was Friday night, and it was a host of ministers after the first session, and we began to talk about how this life would throw us some curveballs. As a matter of fact, this life of peace, and can I just put it on the record? I'm on camera. I'm a prosperity preacher. Why? Because he said, I come that you may have life and that more abundantly. It doesn't mean that life is not going to have conflict. It does not mean that life is not going to have trials. All that live godly will suffer persecution. But the truth of the matter is, he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, but lo, I'll be with you always. So everything I go through, I know that Christ is with me, and with God, we're going to come through everything. Amen. And so we began to talk about how life would throw you some certain punches. It will catch you off guard. That how it will just show up and life just be lifing. And we began to talk about how to garner and preserve your marriage. And even though you're paying attention to one another, and even though you're loving one another, life is happening to you. It don't matter if you're single, life still happens to you. You lose people. How do you go through grief? We don't grieve like other people grieve. Don't let me run through this. And so I began to just kind of put it on the floor. I said, living a saved life don't exempt us from the exam. We all go through stuff. And even though you're single, how do you deal with the loss of a loved one? It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel pain. It doesn't mean that you're not going to go through things. And Jesus was that perfect example. His friend Lazarus, the one he loved, died. And the Bible said that the resurrection was in him. He showed up, and you know what he did? We first want to say, he said, come forth. Jesus wept. He felt the mother-in-law was a tough thing, and watching my wife go through, and grief, it shows up. It shows up in waves, and you don't even be expecting it. You be driving down the road, and it just knock on your door, say, here I am. You can go through weeks and be fine, and all of a sudden grief will show up. You can be at some moment that you've been preparing for, a trip or a vacation, and all of a sudden grief shows up, and you begin to say, well, if my family would have been here with us, they would have enjoyed this. And all of a sudden sadness try to set down on side of you and inside of you, but you got the Holy Spirit that you can rebuke grief. Yes. And God will give you joy on the inside. You'll start to reframe that mindset. Oh, God. And say, everything they poured into me prepared me for this moment. Yes. So as we were there, we began to talk about moments like that, not knowing that this couple who was leading the retreat, they began to talk, and they began to say, you know, You're right. We plan out our life. We plan out what careers we're going to have. We plan out our vacations. We plan out our day planning and things like that. But life and grief and death, it schedules itself. Pain schedules itself. And so what God is saying to us, I'm giving you something inside of you to help you through the unexpected times. So number one, we're free from sin and we're free from death, internal death. See, some folk don't have to go to the grave before they die. They walking around dead. Some folk are walking around depressed because life is eating them up. But God said, lift up your head, all ye gates, and be ye lifted up, your everlasting door. You don't have to walk beneath your privilege. As Mary and Martha are standing there and say, if you would have been here, my brother wouldn't have died. He began to let them know, I am the resurrection. I am life. And so what I'm telling you this morning, no matter how many blows life deal you, you can reframe your mind and still live because life is on the inside of you. And in hearing their story, they begin to talk about how they lost their oldest child. It wasn't just their oldest child, but the son was named after the father, and how this death, it looked like it should have driven them apart, but it made them grow closer. They began to trust God even the more. So in your pain and in your suffering, you learn to trust God, because through it all, this is that I learned to suffer with him. And if I suffer with him, I also reign with him. Because the one who walked this earth, he died. And if you allow some stuff to die inside of you, when he get up, we get up. See, you got to watch folk who just want to hang with you through the good times. But the glory is if we come through the fire together. If we go through the storm together. That's what the real glory of the story is. And the thing of it is, just like he was with those Hebrew boys, and I'm getting ready to bring it home, he'll never leave you, nor forsake you.
Thank you.
But he's going to be with you.
Come on, thank you, sir.
Somebody shout, he's in me.
He's in me.
Let me run down this real quick. I want you to get some out of it. Number one, you're free from sin. You don't have to sin no more. Number two, go with me to verse number 6 one more time. Because I told you that you live in this body, we're saved, but we choose who control our minds. We can be spirit-led or carnally minded. And based on how you're allowing your mind to be driven, is going to determine the life that you live. I'll say that again. Based on who you are letting drive your life, the flesh or the spirit, is going to determine what kind of life you live. If you be carnal minded, you're going to experience life through fear, through anxiety,